What is your first impression when you think of the desert? Barren and desolate, sandy and dusty, water shortage or lifeless. In short, you will not relate the desert with vibrancy and vigor. But now, China is building a great green wall deep in the desert. In addition to planting trees, food is also being grown as a granary. The deserts of China are no longer dead zones, but a green hope of infinite possibilities. In northwest of China, there is such a magical desert, from the yellow sand before to the high yield of potatoes today, namely the Muas Desert, one of the 4 major deserts in China. This desert was once one of the largest sources of dust in China, causing sandstorms to surrounding cities and rural areas every year. It was also one of the poorest areas in the country. But in recent years, Chinese scientists have begun to systematically manage and transform this sandy land to make agricultural production possible. Well, if you want to grow food in the desert, the most dispensable thing is water. But the rainfall in the Muas Desert is extremely low, with an average of only 250 to 440 milliliters per year. What can we do? Located in areas near the meandering banks of the Yellow River, scientists adopted flood irrigation, an ancient and effective technology. Whenever rivers swell and floods are imminent, farmers will guide the floods to the desert areas in an orderly manner. After years of scientific research and practice, Muas Desert is undergoing a remarkable transformation. 4,000 acres of potatoes have been planted. By 2023, these potato fields can produce up to 1.7 million kilograms of potatoes a year. After the potato planting project achieved remarkable success, local farmers started trying to grow more types of food crops. It is known that the Muas Desert now has more than 20,000 acres of fruit and vegetable gardens, cultivating watermelons, tomatoes, corn, cucumbers, and other fruits and vegetable crops. This not only helps stabilize the quicksand in the desert, but also improves the economic income of local residents. Moreover, this case also inspired China to use this comprehensive management system in other desert areas, such as the Kubuqi Desert, to improve the ecological environment of this desert area. Once known as the Sea of Death, Kubuqi Desert, China's 7th largest desert, is another example of successful sand control. In the 50s and 60s, people in Kubuqi shared a jingle. The house on sand cannot live. 9 years are in vain from 10 years farming. Every household escaped from the village. No one can be seen in the boundless yellow sand. Over 3 decades, Kubuqi has now combating desertification, managing an area of more than 6,000 square kilometers. With 1/3 of the desert being treated, Kubuqi Desert has created a miracle of turning the desert into an oasis. Nowadays, Kubuqi is also planted with potatoes, and nearly 10,000 acres of seedling potatoes produce a bumper crop every year. The famous potato chip brand Lay's has even established a potato farm in this desert. Growing crops in the desert, such an incredible mission, relies not only on the hard work of researchers and the full enthusiasm of farmers, but also on the policy support of the state. Over the years, China has made sustained efforts to combat desertification, putting the brakes on desert expansion and contributing to global ecological conservation. The journey is not easy. China is one of the countries that most affected by desertification in the world. According to the statistics released in 1998, China had about 2.62 million square kilometers of desertification land, accounting for about 27% of the country's total land area, affecting nearly 400 million people. Since the 1970s, China has launched several ecological projects, starting its journey of pushing green forward and desertification back. For example, an ambitious forestation project, the 3 North Shelter Belt Forest Program, also called the Great Green Wall, was launched in 1978 and scheduled to be completed in 2050. Since 1988, China has started tree planting projects in desert areas. Currently, they have successfully planted more than 100 billion trees in the desert and effectively improved nearly 280 million acres of desert land. In the past 10 years, China has completed desertification control and prevention missions on 20.33 million hectares, with 53% of China's controllable sandy sand managed. As a responsible stakeholder in the global community, China also shares its experience in desertification control to the world. China's successful example of growing potatoes in the desert has attracted the attention of some desert countries. Last year, agricultural experts from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and other places have come to this once barren desert, hoping to learn this technology. Beyond, China carried out exchanges and cooperation with Belt and Road countries, and established an international knowledge management center for desertification prevention and control. Desert, a world once insulated from lives, is now being redefined in China. In addition to thriving crops, you can also see a power station in the desert. The Mingsha Mountain and Crescent Spring Scenic Spot in Gobi Desert in Gansu has even been turned into a tourist attraction. Through the efforts of countless people, it has been shown to us that the yellow sand can be turned into green hope.